So imagine facing prison time, not for stealing, but just because you threw away like a 9-year-old receipt.
Yeah, in
Mm.
Mexico, that is a very real possibility.
Right. So welcome to this deep dive into doing business south of the border. We're looking at why accounting isn't, just some pile of boring paperwork. It's really your legally mandated co-pilot.
Exactly. I mean, think of it like driving a car at highway speeds. If your dashboard is broken, you have absolutely no idea if you're out of gas until the engine just, well, completely dies.
And you're stuck on the side of the road.
Right, exactly. And in Mexico, driving without that financial dashboard isn't just a bad idea, it is strictly prohibited.
But reading that dashboard, it's not as simple as checking one gauge, is it?
Mm.
You're basically generating data that tells a completely different story depending on, well, who is sitting in the passenger seat.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Say you just sold a massive order of your product. That single transaction actually has to be translated into 3 distinct languages.
All right, so let's break those down. The first one is the financial language, right? Governed by the NIF.
Right, the financial lens. It's the real thermometer of your business.
So this is what investors are looking at.
Exactly. Investors and banks look at that sale and they want to see your actual profitability, like your vital signs. They really don't care about the messy operational details.
But a judge absolutely cares about those details.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the second language, which is the legal one, governed by the commercial code.
Yeah, the legal backing. Because if your supplier suddenly claims, that you never paid them for the materials to build that product,
Which happens, yeah.
that happens all the time. Your accounting is the juridical proof that the transaction actually happened.
Right. But then there's the third language, the one that keeps people up at night,
Oh, yeah, the fiscal language.
governed by the CFF.
Right, the federal fiscal code. This is purely about calculating the taxes you owe to the SAT, Mexico's tax authority. And honestly, this is where it gets dangerous.
Because you could be doing great financially, right? Like highly profitable on paper.
Exactly. You look great under that first financial lens. But if your fiscal paperwork is even slightly off, the SAT can come in and wipe out those profits entirely in penalties.
I do have to play devil's advocate here for a second, though. Because, in a lot of places, accounting for a startup is basically a shoebox of receipts that you just figure out later.
Oh, the classic shoebox.
Right. For a busy entrepreneur, just trying to get a product off the ground is keeping perfect records really strictly enforced.
Yeah.
Like, who is genuinely checking every single daily transaction?
The Mexican government is checking. I mean, the laws here are ironclad, and they leave zero room for interpretation.
Wait, really? Zero room?
Zero. Remember that 9-year-old receipt you mentioned at the start? Under Article 33, by law, you are required to keep your books for a massive 10 years.
Wow.
10 years?
10 years of a perfect paper trail linking every single transaction to its original document. That is intense. And they're doing this entirely digitally now, right? Like, we aren't talking about dusty ledgers in a drawer somewhere.
Oh, far from it. Under Article 28, electronic accounting is completely mandatory. You are required to generate specific XML files.
Which are like digital reports of your accounts.
Exactly. And you have to send them directly to the SAT every single month. They force this digital format because it allows their algorithms to automate audits in real time.
So they aren't even waiting around for a human auditor to spot a mistake.
Nope. Their system flags discrepancies instantly.
So they literally have a real-time monitor on your fuel gauge.
Yeah.
Which means, the consequences of failing to comply go way beyond just having a disorganized desk.
Definitely. I mean, tracking this prevents business blindness. You can't improve what you don't measure.
Right. Hidden costs could just be quietly draining your tank and you wouldn't even know it.
Yeah, that's the operational benefit. But the heavy stick, what happens when the SAT's algorithms catch you slipping up? Under Articles 83 and 84, there's this terrifying mechanism called presumptive determination.
Presumptive determination. That does not sound good.
It's not. If you get audited and your accounting is a mess, the SAT doesn't just throw their hands up. They look at your bank deposits, assume that every single peso flowing in is pure profit, and then tax you on your gross income.
Wait, hold on. So they just invent your tax bill based on the money flowing in and completely ignore all the money you spent to actually run the business, like zero deductions.
Zero deductions allowed. They just assume it's all profit. And it gets worse. If they find out you are keeping double accounting.
Like one real set of books for you and a fake one for the SAT.
Exactly. That's classified as tax fraud. That is literally what can result in prison time.
Oh, wow. So accounting in Mexico really isn't just math. It is your ultimate financial, legal, and fiscal shield. It keeps the engine running, keeps you out of court, and, keeps you out of jail.
Yeah, it really is the only way to survive the highway out there.
Well, here's a final thought to leave you with. We just learned that the SAT can assume every peso in your bank account is pure profit if your books are bad.
Right.
Given those intense penalties, how might your choice of legal structure, like whether you operate as a solo individual, a persona physica, or set up a constituted corporation, a persona moral, completely change your exposure?
That is the million-dollar question.
Exactly. When the tax authority comes knocking for those invented taxes, are they coming after your business's bank account, or are they legally allowed to come after your personal savings? Definitely something for you to think about.